Hello beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a responsive website using Elementor. So the first thing to know is just to be in the Elementor back end. On previous videos you guys would have saw me already create this, showing you guys how to work the Elementor widgets and how to use them, which I will have that link somewhere in the description box. But the first thing you want to know is just to already be in the actual Elementor builder, be in the Elementor interface, and this is how you'll be able to make sure and ensure that you are making your website responsive. Now quickly, I do want to show you from two different interfaces, because recently Elementor did just update some things. So on my portfolio site, as you can see, I have not updated to the new Elementor, but for this demo site I do have the new Elementor interface. So I'm going to show you guys on both, but it's technically still the same. You just have to get to them differently. So if you look at the new Elementor interface, which looks like this, you would notice at the top we have this desktop icon, tablet icon, and a mobile icon. This is how you will be able to make sure that your website is responsive. So obviously when I showed you guys in my previous video how I created this using the widgets, I created both of these two sections on desktop, meaning underneath this icon right here. So to make this website responsive, I would just click on the next one, which is obviously the tablet. That's the next one down, and then I will start adjusting this tablet version to make it look a little bit more presentable for tablet version, and I will do the same thing with mobile. So I will come here and I will also do the same things. So as you guys see, we do have some work to do for tablet and mobile. Now if you are in the old editor, it's going to be the same thing, but you're going to come down to this bottom left hand corner and you see the tablet and the device icon. That is your responsive mode. So if you just click on it, it'll bring up this bar at the top with the same thing as the new Elementor interface, the desktop, the tablet, and you have the mobile. So essentially you would just go through and do the same thing and make your edits from there. This is on my portfolio site. So I'm going to go back to the new editor because I want to work with this one today. But like I said, if you have the old Elementor interface, it's still the exact same after you click on the actual tablets. I mean, not tablets, but mobile responsive icons to work on them. So in my previous video, I did this section and I did this section right here. These two sections I created, but they were created on desktop. So let's actually click on the tablet mobile, the tablet version, and see what we got to do. So right away, you already see we have some edits to work on. We need to fit it up a bit more for a tablet version. Also, you can pull this out if you're looking for specific dimensions, but in general, if you just click on tablet, it tells you right there that it's up to 1024 pixels. So that's what we're working with. This will be the screen size we're working with. So the first thing to note is you do have your main column again, and you have those two inner columns or containers. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go to the main container. I'm going to go over to the advanced and make sure I don't have anything on the side. That's pretty cool. Now for me, since I don't have much information on this right side and all I have is an image, I think that it would honestly just be better to be on top of each other. So with that being said, I'm still on this main container because the pink outline is still right here. So what I'm going to do is going to go to layout, and actually I'm going to switch it to go vertical because I actually want this to sit on top of each other now. And that's exactly what it did. But now we have all of this excess space. So it's a few things that could fix this. You just have to play around and see which one. But if you do remember, when it was, if we go back, when it was with the two columns next to each other, remember to make up 100% for the full container, we had this left container on 50% width, and the same with this container, 50% width. So if I were to go back and change this to vertical, and I look at these columns, they're still technically on 50% width. So I would just drag this over until, let's just put this at like, let's put it at like 550. I think that's cool. And I'm going to do the same with this image. I'm going to put it at 550. And now what I'm going to do is make sure that everything is center aligned, because of course you want this stuff in the center. I think we can actually, let me go to this container. Let's do 600. Yep, 600 is perfect. And do the same thing for here. And there we go. Already starting to look a lot more readable, legible for the human eye, instead of it being next to each other and then they look like they were kind of bunched up. So the second thing I'm going to do is I actually want this image on top. I think they should see the picture or the image first. So I'm going to click on the container of the image. I'm going to go to the advanced tab and I'm going to choose this order to be at the top or the start, because I want this to show first and then I want it to get into the content right here. Another thing, I see both of these containers are like stacked on top of each other and I want to give them some gap. So I'm actually going to go, there's two ways you can do this. You can go to the first container, and if I scroll down so you can see, we can just simply add some bottom padding of like, let's just do 40. Let me close that. And that's pretty natural. Or we could, I'll take that off, we could just go to the main container that's holding both of these columns. And as you see, we have this thing called gaps. So we can actually go ahead and put the gap in between the two containers. So let's just say 20. I like to stick it about 40. I think 40 is a lot more better. Yeah. And there we go. Now you can obviously play around with more stuff to make this look exactly how it should be, like adding more spacing at the top, adding more spacing at the bottom, even going through each one and making sure it's center aligned. I know most times for tablet and mobile devices, things are mostly, or content rather, is most of the time centered. So like maybe you would go through each one and center everything. I can quickly do that with just aligning everything to the center. And then I can take this container and just justify the content to the center for that one since it's in a container. And as you see, we have now made this a lot more responsive when it comes to tablet. And the thing is, when you work from the largest, let's say you work from the desktop first, it will not mess up as you go down. So you can edit the tablet. As we see, we've edited and it has not changed desktop. Desktop is still side by side. Nothing is wrong with desktop. Another thing that's useful to note, that once you go down in responsive mode, most of the times the text will kind of go down in size as well, because looking at smaller screens, big text just seem a little bit obnoxious. So of course, if we did, let's just say here for desktop, for typography, we use 4 RAM. So if I go to the tablet, I would just go back here and maybe we want to do like 3.5 instead of 4. That way it's not screaming at us, And likewise for all the other things. Another thing we can do here is maybe instead of making this go up and down, maybe this time we want to do that trick I just said, like maybe making the text a bit smaller. So let's do 3 RAM right there. I think that's fine. Maybe here we have, let's do 1.5. And we can even make this go down a bit as well. Oh, this wasn't even on RAM, so let's just do 1. And see, that already looks a lot better. And it necessarily doesn't have to be on the, swapping places like we did for this one. So now we did the tablet. Let's see how mobile looks. Okay, so mobile actually looks fine since we just did it. We just did tablet. Now, the thing is, once you do tablet, it will adjust on mobile from the previous settings. So mobile will definitely take heed to the edits that you made for the tablet version, which is pretty good because it gives you a head start. Like we see here, we don't necessarily have to do too much. At most, what I would do is having images stuck to the side is never a good thing. So what I would do is come into this column, and well, no, I see that the column is actually to the side. Okay, so let's actually go to the main column again. Let's click on advanced, and you see the padding on the right and the left is set to 0. So let's put this back. So let's put 40 back at the top, 40 back at the bottom, and then on the right and the left we can do 20 pixels of padding on the right and the left. And then that gives it a little bit more space, so it's not like flush to the actual size of the website, because we don't want that. We want breathing room and we want space. So that already makes this piece look a lot better. And we can do, well, you see, if we did it for the main container, it goes for the container 1 and the container 2 that's inside of the main container. So the same thing applies with text on mobile device. Come to the heading and make it a bit smaller for mobile. So if it was 3.5 for tablet, which looks pretty good on tablet, for mobile we're gonna go, let's do 2.5, and then let's edit the line heights because that's a bit much. Let's do 1.2. And we can go here and we can make sure that everything is centered like so. And that's how you make a responsive website. So again, once you create your website or your sections on the desktop version, just make sure that after each section you actually go through tablet and you go through mobile to see how it actually looks. And this is how you will ensure that every time you design your website that it is a responsive website. And that's my tip for today, is to just definitely make sure you do this after each section. It'll make it a whole lot easier versus doing a whole entire page and then having to go back and do the whole entire page for tablet and mobile. So after you create a section, just go through tablet and mobile and you can fix it for responsiveness. And if you want in-depth BTS, well, no. Now, if you want more behind the scenes on my thought process, how I design websites, what I use, what resources, and all that good stuff, be sure to join my Discord community, which I will have linked down below in the description box. That's all I have for today, guys, and I will see you in the next one.